are things going? So we are in another episode of Makin Bold Moves Monday. I'm Kristen Kramer with Girl Friday Virtual Office. And I just realized that on my LinkedIn Live, I didn't even introduce myself. So there's that. It's a Monday. But today, what I wanted to talk to you about is this old adage of time versus money. All right, I got a great story for you. So I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving if you were here stateside celebrating Thanksgiving, and that you got to spend some time relaxing and recharging, maybe spending some time with some family and friends. But ultimately that you had a good holiday and maybe even took in a little bit of the Black Friday craze that was back in full force this year, if you didn't notice. So I'm still laughing at myself. So Thursday, Thanksgiving, my turkey's thawed out and I'm getting ready to prep it and put it in the oven. And lo and behold, my kitchen sink is not draining. No problem, right? Just get the plunger, plunge it. No big deal. Problem solved. Problem not solved. Because as I'm plunging the sink, I hear what sounds like air escaping as I'm plunging. And I'm thinking, maybe the seal between the plunger and the sink isn't real good. So that's where the air is coming, but I'm not seeing any air bubbles. So I'm starting to think, no, there is a leak here. So kind of like with your car and a vacuum leak. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And in fact, there was. John came in and he's looking and he hears it and he's like, I think we've got a leak. Well, confession, I thought we might have a leak too, but I needed the sink to drain so I could finish prepping this turkey, get it in the oven. And John opens up the cabinet and yep, we've got a leak. And as he's investigating further, we have a leak against the wall. Okay. So it's not just like a leak in the trap or, a different part of the pipe. It's actually the pipe that goes to the wall to drain down to the big drain to the house. I hope that makes sense. So a couple of trips to the hardware store and, John's like, I don't know, probably need to call a plumber, but I really don't want to spend the money on a plumber. I think I can fix it myself. Well, I'm like, you know what? Call the plumber, because I know well enough with this house that every time that we've gone to do a project, it's always a bigger project than we think it's going to be. Always, without fail, like Murphy's Law with this house. All right. So debated a little bit more and we decided to have a plumber come out. And wouldn't you know it, John had already taken a portion of the wall out so that the plumber could access the pipes without having to cut the wall out. Unfortunately, as the plumber is looking at the situation, he's like, I'm going to need to cut more out of here. Are you okay with that? Do whatever you need to do, man, because it's got to get fixed, right? I mean, we're doing dishes in the bathtub at this point. So whatever you need to do. And it's going to be more involved than he originally thought it was. Well, of course it is, because, well, number one, it's our house. And number two, of course it is, right? Anytime you have a repair like that, it's always more complex than you think. So I'm really glad that we opted to outsource the repair to someone who is an expert at plumbing, like a plumber, versus trying to fix it ourselves, because we would have gotten in there and one, probably wouldn't have even recognized that there was a much bigger problem. Okay. So that's the first thing. Two, we probably would have been working on it like, I don't know, an entire day. This gentleman was able to finish it. I think he got here at like 8 and he was done by, I don't know, 11:30 or noon. So, I mean, it took him quite a good chunk of his day to do it, but that's quite a good chunk of his day. And he's an expert. Okay. And he is very good, very good. I cannot even imagine the time it would have taken us to fix it. Okay. Not being experts, not being plumbers or well-versed on plumbing. So it was good that we outsourced it, because now it's fixed correctly. That drain has never drained so well as it does today. Seriously, like since the day we moved in. And when he showed me the sludge that was clogging one of the drains, which we, again, were not even aware that we had that going on. I was like, wow, that's, holy crap, that's impressive, right? So now the dogs are going to go nuts because Alex is getting home. So my point to this is how often are you, trying to figure out, should I or shouldn't I spend the money to get something set up or fixed in my business? I'll just figure it out on my own. I'll just, make it work. And, I probably need to know how it works anyway. So you go ahead and you invest the time and effort and your personal resources into learning. Let's say in this example, a system like Keep, which is a sales and marketing and CRM platform. Okay. So you're going to learn how to build the automations and how to make it all work. And you're going to learn all of this from scratch, and then you're going to have to build it out and all of these things. Here's my question for you. What is your time worth? What is your time worth? If you have to learn the system and then build it all out and make sure that it's working the way you expect it to work, because that's the thing about automations. You got to test all that stuff to make sure that it behaves in the manner in which you think it's supposed to behave, or in which you expect it to behave, because it can go sideways on you with just one thing being in the wrong place. All right. And you won't know if you don't test it ahead of time. And even if you do, if you're still learning all of the ins and outs of it, you could learn right after you trigger your automation. That's fun. And I speak from experience on this, as I was becoming a certified partner for Keep, and kind of dabbling and, experimenting and trying to, figure some things out without without actually having been through the courses yet. So that was fun. But what is your time worth? Is your time more valuable spent learning a system and a platform, and setting it all up and investing all of the time and effort into doing those things because, maybe this is not your area of expertise, right? Or would your time be better spent and provide you with a bigger return on your investment of time if you spent that time outsourcing to someone who does understand the ins and outs of a certain platform, and you spent your time then, instead of learning it and building it out and trial and error, you spent your time talking to potential clients, closing new sales, developing relationships with potential customers, deepening relationships with the customers you have, providing deliverables that you promised to customers that you already have, all of these things. Where is the best use of your time and expertise? Well, I am going to go back to this plumbing example. If you're still trying to figure it out, spoiler alert, your time, unless your business is, in this example, like automation, okay, or building your website or editing videos, whatever the case may be, unless that's your area of expertise, you are better served to outsource those projects. Yes, it's going to cost you money, but someone who does that day in and day out is an expert in that area in that niche can do it in a fraction of the time it would take you to learn it, mess up, fix it, get it running, and get it working the way you expect it to work. So yes, it's going to cost you money out of your pocket. But when you offload projects like that to someone and you start outsourcing projects to somebody that's an expert in that field, your website, video editing, CRM setup, migration, email marketing, social media management, whatever the case may be, right? Plumbing, electrician, anyone? You then take that time that you are capturing back into your day, into your calendar, and you turn it towards revenue generating activity. Okay. So that's the key. Now, if you outsource it and then you go scroll through Pinterest for like 6 hours, or you sit down and get, mindlessly binging on a show that you enjoy, or, whatever, or you're piddling around or whatever, then you're not gaining anything in outsourcing that project. So ideally, when you are outsourcing a project, what's happening is you are taking the time that would have been spent on figuring all of these nuts and bolts kinds of things out. You're taking that time and investing it in developing client relationships and nurturing the client relationships that you have, because those things ultimately are the activities that advance your business forward, help you grow the bottom line, help you grow your profit margin, and create a business that ultimately becomes the vehicle taking you to the end result that you're seeking, be it more time to spend with family and friends, or more time to travel somewhere that's on your bucket list, or making more money because when you make more money, typically it's because you have something you want that money to do for you. Maybe it's leaving a legacy behind for your family or society, having a greater impact in the world around you, whatever the case may be. But it's through those revenue generating activities that you make your business the vehicle that gets you there to your ultimate destination, right? Whatever that goal is your destination. And investing in partnerships that you can outsource to creates sort of a resource network for your business that you can call on and outsource to whenever another project of similar nature comes up and you need something done with it. And again, you're taking the time that you're gaining back into your day and into your calendar, and you're turning it towards advancing your business in the direction you want it to go. So, wondering, has anybody experienced that? I mean, do you have any real world examples of something where you were on the fence, or maybe you said to yourself, no, I'm going to learn how to do it myself because I don't want to spend the money, to have someone else do it for me. And you probably told yourself the story of, it can't be that hard. I'm a fast learner. And that may be the case. You may be a fast learner and you may be very tech savvy, but there's always a learning curve involved. So, have you ever done that to yourself? And then in hindsight, because hindsight is always 2020, you looked back on that and thought, oh my gosh, if I had just outsourced that, I would have gained back like 3 weeks of my life. Not to mention all the frustration that I had in, the trial and error piece of it. And it would have been done so much faster. And I could have spent that time on more productive projects and focusing on other things that I needed to focus on with my business. And now I'm behind because I spent all that time and effort learning this thing that's not in my wheelhouse. So that is my challenge for today's Bold Move Monday, is to really assess where you're spending your time in your business, or as, a leadership role in a company that you work for. Where are you spending your time? And is that the best use of your time and your skills and your talent? Or would you be better served in outsourcing some of those activities so that you could free up time and make space to operate and focus on the things that you are an expert on, that do support your strengths and advance you towards your goals. That's your challenge. And I want you to share your ideas. Definitely share your ideas and experiences. And if you try something, or if you're like, yeah, I totally need to outsource XYZ, I'm curious to see what's on your list that you think you shouldn't be doing. And, let me know what you think. And in the meantime, go out there and dare to dream big and make some amazing things happen this week. And I will see you on Wednesday for WTF Wednesday. See you